What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I know I am, and if you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Benji will escape from Norway on a pair of skis, come to your nearest location, and lick your toes. Yeah, that's right. He's a big fan of feet, so you definitely want to press the like button to make sure he doesn't come get you. Anyways, guys, as you can tell from the title, today we've got a little bit of a spooky story. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking through everything that I've already said on this channel, and most of the stuff that I have left outside of a few funny stories is basically me putting myself in danger. So, as always, a quick little disclaimer: don't go to the middle of a desert to abandoned places where there's rumors of cults being, because chances are those rumors are there for a reason and you'll run into them. But hey, you live and you learn. That's life sometimes. Sometimes you have to run into a dangerous cult to realize that you don't want to be in a dangerous cult, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's what my grandma used to tell me. I don't know if that's a common saying, but if it's not, let me live in peace and at least believe that I make smart decisions. So, when I was 17, there started this rumor spreading around my high school, or I didn't start it, but like I heard this rumor that was spreading around my high school about this abandoned water park that was on the way to California. I live in Vegas, and there actually is an abandoned water park on the way to California, and there started to be this rumor going around my high school that there was this cult that would go there and like perform sacrifices, and there was all this crazy stuff all over the place. And being 17 and really stupid, me and a couple of my close friends were like, dude, we've got to go check this out. Are you kidding me? This is straight out of Scooby-Doo. Like, you know, Shaggy and the gang would be pulling up to this abandoned water park to catch a ghost. So we decide that we're gonna go see and find if there's this cult there, like doing all these rituals or any proof of it, and be the coolest kids in school, because obviously the entire school is talking about it. Everyone's going crazy. So we're like, look, we're basically gonna be celebrities if we go here. So me and my friends decide we're gonna do this, and I have to find a reason to get out of the house. The water park is like 45 minutes out of town on the way to California, and we want to be there for a while, so I have to basically find a reason to convince my parents to let me go 45 minutes away from home, randomly in the middle of the night with no explanation, and get away with it. And crappily, this just happens to be during the time of like when iPhones were first popping, so I think I had like an iPhone 4, maybe an iPhone 5, like, but it was still new, you know? So my parents could track my location, but it was still pretty primitive and new. So we're trying to think of ways to sneak out, and we're like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. This Friday night, everyone's gonna tell their parents that we're gonna go to blah blah blah's house and stay up late, stay up all night playing D&D. Yes, I play D&D. I'm a nerd. It's actually really fun. Don't knock it till you try it, because it's just straight vibes. But when we're there, this is at the time where you could like sign in and out of your Live 360 profile, or like the Find My Friends app. So we're basically like, all right, we're all gonna sign in to iPads. We had this friend who, you know, was kind of bougie and happened to have enough iPads for every member of his family to like give us enough to cover ourselves. So we sign into our iPads, so our tracker says we're at his house, and we don't tell his parents where we're going because they were asleep. They were a lot older though. He was like the youngest kid, so they're out, and we're like, all right, bet. So we hop into this car, and we realize quickly that there's not enough seats. So they basically tell me that I have to ride in the trunk of this car 45 minutes away to a water park. And because I'm young and stupid, I'm like, yeah, sure. So I climb in the trunk, and for the next 45 minutes, I'm like loudly screaming to them through the back seat to communicate, and thankfully we don't get hurt. Please don't ever do anything this stupid. The reason I'm including it is because like at the time I thought it was cool, you know, I was a teenager, no big deal, but in retrospect, now that I've grown up a little bit, don't do anything this stupid with your friends ever, okay? If there's not enough seats and seat belts, then take a different car or something, because it's definitely not worth the risk. But it just kind of paints the image for how stupid I was. So whatever, we get there to this abandoned water park, and it's pitch black, and we had only brought 2 flashlights, and for whatever reason, before we had gone to the water park or packed the flashlights, we don't decide to check the battery. We're just like, whatever, if they're flashlights, they're in the garage, they probably work. So sure enough, as luck would have it, the batteries don't work, and one does, but it's really dim. Like, it's to the point where it's more creepy than it is helpful to brighten anything up. Like, it's just enough light to make out the shape of the thing that's about to eat you before it eats you. It's not actually going to be useful for exploring this abandoned water park. So we start exploring, and because there's this like scary rumor that there's been human sacrifices and stuff, every small thing that we find we make like the biggest deal out of. And we're slowly making our way up this hill because the water slides went downhill, which makes sense saying it out loud. I'm putting two and two together. And at the top of this hill was like this little shack where people used to wait in line for this big ginormous slide. And just walking up to this, like looking at this shack on the hill, it just gave me this very evil, creepy vibe. Like it just did not seem like the type of thing that I wanted to go see. But all my friends are hyped. They're like, no, let's go to this shack. And keep in mind, we don't have any flashlights, so it's pitch black. The only thing lighting up this water park is like the moon, and every now and then it's getting covered by clouds, and we have to stop and just sit in dark silence for minutes at a time. So I'm tired, the tension's getting to be a little much, and we're climbing up this hill to go to this like shack. And the entire time, this pit in my stomach is getting heavier and heavier. You know, it tastes like I ate some really, really, really bad Taco Bell, and I'm feeling it just inch its way down my gut before it explodes into the toilet. Like, that's a very gross way of saying this, but I'm not feeling good. Like, it's just a bad feeling. And I trust my gut a lot. I don't really know, like, why I've always trusted my gut, but I trust it a lot, and I have a bad feeling. So I'm getting nervous, but I don't want to be the person that's a wimp. So we get up to, like, right outside of this little shack, and sure enough, everybody is not brave enough to go in. And I want to get out of here, because at this point, everything in my body is telling me to run. Like, I don't know why, but my body is screaming run, but they don't want to leave till we see the shack. So I decide that I'm just gonna go in first. YOLO, blaze it, who cares? So I go in, and it smells horrible. And on the floor in like black spray paint, sure enough, is this ginormous pentagram, which freaks me out. So I back out and I'm like, oh my god, it's a pentagram and it smells horrible. And like everyone I'm with is like, oh my god, it's the smell of the sacrifices. And we're all freaking out and everybody's like, low-key scared. And then we hear car doors slamming. Keep in mind, it's like midnight in the middle of the desert, 45 minutes out of town and an abandoned water park. So immediately, everybody just hits the deck, like all of us, and it goes silent. And we're still freaking out because, you know, we just walked into this little shack, which, for whatever reasons, our dumb teenage brains is convinced was used for, like, human sacrifices. So we hit the deck, and we hear multiple car doors slamming, like, a few. So I look, and sure enough, we're at the top of the hill of the water park now. I can see where we parked over to the left, and to the right, there's, like, 4 vans. And there are tons of people out of these vans. When I say vans, it's not like a Toyota Sienna minivan. I mean those Mercedes vans that are made to take like tourist groups across the country. And there are 4 vans of people that are emptying over like on the right-hand side of the water park. So I'm kind of like, wow, that's weird. What a weird time to take a field trip, you know? And I'm focusing in more and I'm looking, and as my eyes are adjusting more and I'm seeing things, I'm thinking that like they're all wearing the same thing, but I can't confirm it. Because like I said, we don't have flashlights, and the only thing that's lighting things is almost out of a horror movie, is like the moon when the clouds aren't there. So sure enough, I'm kind of like, it looks like a group of people, and the clouds move away, and I realize that all of them are wearing matching robes, and I immediately just about crap my pants. So I get back down and I tell all my friends, I'm like, it's the cult, it's the cult, it's the cult. Because keep in mind, the rumor at our school is that not only is this place haunted, but there is a cult of people that comes and does human sacrifices. And here we are in the middle of the night, and it looks like a bunch of people in robes are encroaching from vans to come up to this like water park thing. Call me crazy, definitely sounds like a psycho cult coming to make human sacrifices at the place that's known for the human sacrifices. Definitely not a good vibe to be feeling when you're sitting in a pitch black shack with a bunch of other people that are also terrified because 10 seconds ago you thought you found the sacrifice room. So obviously me and my friends are terrified because we think that this cult that's sacrificing people is marching their way up the mountain to like eat us alive. So we look out and we're like, we have to get back to the car, and thankfully we're parked on the other side. So we decide that we're gonna try to like stealthily move our way back to the car and avoid this cult, because we look back out and sure enough they're walking through the water park. And the water park is pretty big, but you we don't have a ton of time to plan, and keep in mind, we're all like a bunch of city kids from Las Vegas that have never really effectively avoided a cult in an abandoned water park. It's just not something that we're used to, and even if it was, we're used to like having street lights and stuff. So we turn off the flashlight and we just start sprinting in the dark back to the car, and we're falling. I think I fell down like 6 times, and as we're slowly getting closer to the cult, like we're working our way towards each other in this water park, we finally slow down and we're like, shut up, shut up, shut up. And we're laying behind like these half broken slides in this abandoned water park, trying our best to stay still as like this cult is moving by. And as they're walking by, it sounds like they're having pretty normal conversations. It's like, oh, how's the kids? Hope school is going good. How's Pete's job? Like that type of stuff. I'm not hearing anything about like, do you think the sacrifices know they're in the shack? But a bunch of people in the middle of the night wearing robes in an abandoned amusement park that you're pretty sure is haunted is definitely not the type of thing that makes you calm. Like, they could have been talking about unicorns and rainbows, and I don't care. I'm still definitely not feeling talking to people that are wearing creepy robes in the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere. I don't care if they have a good explanation. Everybody out here is stupid, myself included. Also, I'm just saying, I don't care how normal your conversation is. What type of people wear robes to an abandoned water park in the middle of the night that aren't up to no good? Like, even if they weren't down for human sacrifices, all of you wearing robes is a little bit culty. Just because people are in a cult doesn't mean that they can't be vibing and asking how Pete's job is going. Maybe they're pretty normal, who knows? And, if you are a cult, just avoid robes altogether. It does not make you look good. It definitely just adds like 90 points to the whole creepy thing. So we're basically playing hide and seek with this cult, making our way back to the car. And we get back to the car and we turn on the car, and I guess we hadn't turned the headlights off. So the headlights turn on and it's just enough to like illuminate the water park. And all the robe people are gone, but we see them gathered around the shack. And when our headlights turn on, almost like at once, the entire cult just turns with their creepy robed heads and just looks at the car. And it was straight out of a horror movie, just like 4 vans full of people in these dark robes turning and looking at us while the only thing lighting them is the moon in headlights. And immediately, as soon as some of them turn, a few of them start walking towards the car. And I'm like, no, go, step on the gas now, get out of here. Go, go, go. And because we're terrified, we didn't even put me back in the trunk, so I'm just like laying across the back seat of these people's legs being like, drive, get out of here, go. So sure enough, the driver like stomps on the gas. We do this weird like in the rocks because we pulled off onto the side of the road in the middle of the desert to see this abandoned water park. You can Google it if you don't believe me. Look up Google abandoned like water park in Las Vegas and you'll see what I mean. Regardless, once we got away, obviously it kind of set in how fun some of that was. Like playing hide and seek with a cult in a lazy river is definitely not something that you get to do every day, but definitely terrifying. I really don't know what the people in robes were doing, but like I said, it can't be good. Nobody wears robes anywhere in the middle of the night for anything good ever. Like, it just doesn't happen, okay? Robes are just an evil piece of clothing, let's be honest here. Regardless, though, me and my friends did end up telling basically everybody at school about, like, the fact that we low-key ran into a cult, and nobody believed us because it sounds ridiculous, and yeah, it does. I really don't know why a bunch of people decided to meet in the middle of the night in a water park in robes. Maybe they were doing human sacrifices. I highly doubt it, but maybe that rumor is there for a reason, Maybe it just sounds crazy because nobody wants to believe there's a evil cult kidnapping people and taking them to water parks. But on that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. If you really enjoyed this video, then turn on notifications. I post stuff like it every single day. And if you really enjoyed, you can support the channel extra by turning on notifications, checking out the merch store down below, joining the Discord server, or if you want some G Fuel using code SCRUBBY. Yeah, today's notification shout out for all you fantastic people that are doing their absolute best to turn on those noties. Marlo Meredith, big thank you for having on notifications. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have an incredible day. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot and avoid water parks at night, especially when they're infested with cults. I'll see you guys next time with another video, and I am out. Bang, bang. Peace. This outro was all in one take.